Hi, everybody. Um, Let me try to get some stuff done really quick. Um, I'm trying to figure this out. Trying to make sure there's no get this echo from in the background. There's that. Um, For some reason, it looks like the comments are not showing up. So I'm trying to see what that is about. Like why the comments aren't showing up. This is weird. Okay, it looks like it's private. Okay.
Hey V.
Oh, hey. Okay. I was trying to give me 1 second. I was trying so very hard to send you this link, and it
You
just
need to
wasn't.
change your title from V Smith's Zoom meeting. Change your title to what you can
Why
even
does
put,
it say that?
you can
Okay.
do Gatekeeping Blackness or something like that.
Where's it?
I'm trying to mute that. You're already live.
I know that. That's my thing, and I can't even because I thought I had already changed my title. Now I have to go into here. It's okay. There's not that many people in the.
I was here for like 500.
I know, I'm about to share it so that some more people can come in.
How do I do that really quick?
You can go into your YouTube studio and click on your live stream and change the title, which you should do it.
Okay, but
I like the way you change your edges. I do like that. You really slayed them. I know. It is very, very.
I'm trying not to feel super anxious, but I do have, so much to talk about.
I mean, don't feel a certain type of way. You haven't gone live in a minute.
I know. I'm just okay, let me go down to YouTube Studios. Well, because last time I went live, just the other day, which is my last one, I didn't use Zoom, and then I just realized that I didn't use Zoom, and so I just got on there yesterday. See, and I don't even see how to change it in YouTube Studio.
I would have to show you.
Yeah, because I thought
that one over there. I would have to show you how to do it. If you go into your YouTube studio, not Zoom, go into your YouTube
yeah, I'm
studio.
in YouTube Studio.
And go into where it separates your live streams from your videos. So it just say live. And
Okay,
if you click on that tab, you will see your live stream and it will say that it's live.
yeah, because I don't know. I think that was the thing, because that's saying my latest short channel dash.
Part of me want to share the screen and show you how to do it. I can. I would have to be on Zoom on my computer though to be able to share the screen and show you what I'm talking about.
Screen.
Okay, yeah, share your screen with me so I can see.
Okay, hold on. I go into Zoom.
Don't share the screen of your analytics part. Just share the screen of your videos where it shows like your channel content, like your videos, and then the live streams. Let me see.
Why is this not?
And the people who come in, they just gonna have to wait. Okay, so go to the tab on the left-hand side that says content. You're sharing the very screen that I said don't share, but click on that. Yeah, click on that, and then click on where it say live. Click on where it say live.
Exactly when you said that, but it's okay because my analytics are bad. I don't care. I just most
And
of
then
mine.
click on, you see your video that's live?
Okay,
Click
here
on,
it is. Yeah.
yeah, click on that and then change the title.
Oh, okay. So this is where I need to go in there and
Yeah.
put it in. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. And then I'll fix it really quick.
Yeah, you can put your topics in there.
Okay. Okay, give me one more second. And let me
Oh, and then I want to ask you about this dude with this Kim Kardashian situation.
I have
Did you
something
see the
else
video I
too.
did?
That's not even in here. I did. I was watching that earlier today.
Did you hear what he said?
Girl.
He was dragging like all of them. He was like majorly dragging them. Like,
yeah,
for real.
I didn't get to watch the entire thing, but I definitely heard what he said. Okay, let me put this in here really quick. I hate computers. There we go. This goes right here, and then not that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe here that not really long. Okay.
That's
So
Not trying to be a big hand.
mhm.
Trying to be a grown man. This one.
oh, I'm trying to put it in my Zoom, right? That's it. It's not my Zoom. Where did it go? I have like 5 billion things open. There it is.
I'm just glad you're doing it off screen. Okay, refresh this and see if you were somehow able to change your title. And no, you did not change
Because
your
I
title.
just have to go down here and save it.
Why am I not
Is
seeing
my
your
thumbnail
chat?
not even
Oh, because
Oh.
it's on top chat instead of live
Because
chat.
you
Like, I
know
don't see your
why?
chat box.
I know it said my chat box it said it's private, and I went in here and tried to make it public. But
Yeah, go back into go back into your studio.
I'm still
and
in
you'll
it.
have to. Yeah, so share your screen with me again really quickly so I can show you how to turn your thing off, because you have to go into your actual live stream that you own. And you have to go in there and do
Okay, hold on one
live.
second. I'm still in it. Is it in the same area? Is it actually?
Yeah, it'll be in that same area, because it should be like I should be able to, and your chat box pops up. It just not I think there's something wrong with YouTube. Let me see something.
No, select.
I just typed into your chat box, but I don't see what anybody else is saying in your chat box, and the chat box is up. Did you see me put something here? Now I see something. Pith Crew Solutions. Oh, so people just aren't typing in the chat box. That's fine. Y'all, we gonna get this worked out, and then we'll get into the discussion. So y'all just hold on for a second. We just having some
Okay,
technical
it says
difficulties.
it's saving. For some reason, it's being slow. Tell me if it changed the title on there.
Okay, I'll refresh and I will see. Yeah, gatekeeping blackness, biracial meltdown, then one drop rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so good. And your chat box do work.
Okay. So now we can just get into this.
Mhm.
First, we'll talk about the gatekeeping blackness. But I think just to go into it, we should talk about whether we think I want to pull up the chat on my thing so I can make sure I see what people are saying, because I like to make sure I'm like engaged. But
Mhm.
I think first we should talk about whether we think gatekeeping blackness is important. And I think
I
that's
think
one.
it's one of our biggest mistakes. Not doing it is one of the
Oh,
biggest mistakes
I think
that we make.
it's a huge mistake that Black people make in giving away their Blackness. But I think before we answer that question, we should go into what the one drop rule is, why it was created, and why the Black community are the only community that continues to perpetuate the one drop rule standard.
And
So
really only in this country, because from what I'm hearing, people
we are.
outside of the US don't call biracial people Black. They call them mixed. They're not Black in other countries. So I think that's a good place for us to start. If you want to go into like the one drop rule, I'll just piggyback off of you, or I can just give a Cliff Notes version of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna share the screen because I did bring it up because I like to give definitions. So we can look at a few Wikipedia's definition. It says the one drop rules, it inserts that any person with even one ancestry of Black ancestry, the one drop of Black blood, is considered Black, Negro, or colored in historical terms. So a racial.
But does it tell you what? Does it tell you why that was established the way it was on that Wikipedia?
No, but let's look that up. Why?
Well, I know why it was. I know why it was the way that it was. So prior to I think, wasn't it Plessy versus Ferguson that did the one drop rule? I think Plessy v. Ferguson. Let me look it up to make sure, but I think Plessy v. Ferguson made the one drop rule. I think that's what it was. Let me look and see what it was. That rule that racial segregation laws did not violate the U.S. Constitution as long as the facilities to each were equal in equality. What? It wasn't Plessy. If somebody in the chat.
Yeah, I brought up this one where it says during World War II, Colonial Curl Bedinson stated that so I guess he stated
right,
that anyone.
But the reason they did it is because there was a man of no color who wanted to gain wealth. He was trying to get wealth that should have been passed down to him. And because it had been known that he had a Black ancestor, they decided to come up with that one drop rule so that man was not able to obtain wealth. That's why they made it. They didn't do it because they were trying to establish who's really Black or who's not. This was about keeping wealth from being passed down.
It definitely 100% was about keeping wealth. And that's the one thing that is very irritating is how people are taking that out of context. Let me
go ahead. I'll ask the person in the chat box because I think they're a troll. I think this person might be a troll.
Yeah, and I don't want to use this one because they're oh gosh, what is my computer doing?
What are you going?
Yeah, you're sharing it. You can just click on it and on whatever you're on. I see what you're on. It's just there's a delay in what comes up because it took a minute to come up on my thing. But
yeah, and on this one, it talks about within the context of colonial enslavement, Blackness,
Mhm.
prototypical or phenotypical African features such as dark skin or broad noses, tightly coiled hair were undoubtedly marked as inferior. Their features served as immediately communicated one's position was within the social power structure and in the context of enslavement, whether one was free or enslaved.
Right. This one drop rule is what made biracial people in this country be considered Black. Because prior to this one drop rule, biracial people were not considered Black. They were considered a separate race. They called them mulatto. And in certain states, they were a part of anti-miscegenation laws. I believe it was in California was one of them, the way that they stated that a mulatto person who was a mixed person was a part of the group of people that Black people were not able to marry, have a legit marriage among. So after this one drop rule happened, then obviously biracial people became Black people. But before that, they were not Black. It was widely known that these are not Black people, these are biracial people. Yes, they have a proximity to Blackness, and they even have Black DNA, but they weren't actually considered Black. It's recent for them to have been to start being lumped into the Black category. And because white people basically created that one drop rule, Black people picked it up and they haven't put it down yet. Like, and that's the
and the thing, even down, they're not even looking at the hypocrisy of it. Like even down here where it says white women who had children by Black men were not only disgraced by their race, but their nation. And also the fact that a white woman who has a child by a mother could give birth to a Black child, but a Black mother can never give birth to a white child. So
right. Well, I get what they're saying. You about their racial classification, yeah, because if you're gonna call a biracial kid Black, then yeah, but at the same time,
that goes into this argument of why biracials aren't fighting the white community. And that was one of the things that I do want to talk about, but I'm just going to tiny bit touch on it right here because of this sentence. Why the biracials, even
can you go down to here really quickly where it says race mixing posed a number of potential problems? Because I would love to read that part, because all of that now has reversed to where race mixing now is a huge benefit to the system.
Not just the system, but to
the survivor. Yeah, it's the I'm looking at it on the YouTube playback, which is a little bit delayed. So let me see.
Okay, so it's probably farther up.
No. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Was it before I read?
No, go back the other way, because it's before where you just got us now.
Not the punishment, obviously.
No, the sentence starts by saying that it's a sentence that says it starts by saying race mixing.
Okay. Oh, right here. Race mixing poses a number of potential problems at a time when Blacks far outnumber whites. Whites were afraid of losing control over the enslaved population. Right there.
Yeah, and because I want people to know why that changed. The key word: when Blacks outnumbered whites. Okay, because here's the thing: because of anti-miscegenation laws, a biracial person wouldn't have been able to be with a person of no color. But they would have been able to be with a Black person because that's where they were at. They were put into the Black community. Even when they weren't seen as Black, they still were lumped with in the Black community. Most of their parents were Black women. So
And
when
you
most
need
of
to
the biracials were Black women's children, they were in the Black community, even though they were classified as non-Black, their identity was Black because they had Black mothers. So the potential for those biracial people, and a lot of them did, to go procreate with Black people and build up the Black population more was a real threat, but now it's not, because now that's the reverse. Now most
Exactly.
biracial people have Black fathers and white mothers, and those ones, because people of no color basically understood the formula to basically breeding out populations. They had already done it. And actually different countries actually are the ones that told the US that they were dealing with their Black problem incorrectly. They were like, you're segregating. Oh, go ahead.
Well, if you look at it in a global way, they were doing this all over the globe. Australia did it to get rid of all the Black people. They did it in the Philippines. They did it in Thailand. They literally did it all over the globe to eradicate Blackness. So when we're looking at it right now, back in the past, it was when there was an increased amount of Black people. Right now, it is beneficial to people of no color. It really is. And right now, it is eradicating Blackness. And by allowing, by us gripping onto this one drop rule, we're literally perpetuating white supremacy.
Yeah, mostly Black men, because they've written articles on why it's important for them to allow Black men access to white women, because they understood that, number one, the mother is the one whose influence on the child is the strongest. The mother is, because she's the primary caregiver. And so when they looked at,
no, go ahead. No, I
was going to say, when they looked at the fact that Black men abandon their children at a very high rate, they essentially knew, hey, bandits over here desperate for white women. We need to boost our numbers because our numbers is declining. They actually put that in that P.W. Botha speech, the one who was the president of South Africa. He had put in there, they try to say, oh, it's fake, but it actually wasn't. This is a real speech. But he put it in there that Black men were desperate for white women and that they could use it to their advantage. They could use it against them, obviously in a number of different ways. But the reality is, they have, and they had already documented that Black men abandon their children. They leave them single mothers. So they knew that if they gave Black men access to white women, then they would create children with them. Those children would grow up in the white community. They would be more identified with white people.
That one.
And then they
right
would
there.
have white mates. Yep, they would have to take on white mates.
That one? But can we pause on that one for 1 second? Those children, those biracial children that you as Black people and Black women, for the most part, are advocating and pushing so hard for to call Black, have white mothers and have white identities, their mindset, their loyalty, their
everything about their identity and their perspective of the world is going to be molded
their
by
perspective. Their push is not and even some of the ones that we have, not most of them are in the middle, but their identity, because of them having one white parent, is always going to be either neutral or on leaning towards that white side.
I don't even think they're neutral. I don't even think they're neutral.
Saying no, the ones that have white mothers are all the way. Their identity is white. But I'm saying even when we have when we as Black women have biracial children, if they have their fathers in their lives and they have that side, their grandfather, their grandparents, and they have that whole side, they still have that identity. So we still can't say that this is a Black person, because it's not. And it's the dishonesty and the delusion, even by having that child say that they're Black, you are pushing that child on that side because you're making them choose. And that tug of war in their psyche of this identity, and they're going to be more against you because you're pushing them to be Black when they see that society doesn't benefit them as Black, and they're thinking that you have lower self-esteem and self-worth because white people have self-pride. They like their identity, and they cherish their identity, and you don't, because you're pushing it and you give it away so much. And I just want to touch just really on this little sentence right here where it says, but what is really lie beneath their physical fear was their psychological one. In order to maintain white supremacy, whiteness had to remain pure. White anxieties about racial mixture were rooted in eugenics and scientific racism.
And can we stop there? Because that is true. That is true. And it was based in eugenics. And then I think it was Brazil had written to the US and told them basically that they need to reverse it, do the eugenics the different way, rather than trying to push them off to the side. They said mate with them and they will lose their Blackness. They'll identify with whiteness and they'll lose their Blackness. So because it had already been done in other places.
Brazil had already done it.
The US.
Like I said, Brazil, Australia, Cuba had already done it.
Brazil had done it. Cuba had done it. All of South America had done it. Argentina, all of those countries had already gone over there. That's why you have these white-looking so-called Hispanics in areas that were mostly populated by the indigenous people, who have already been documented in many journals. Especially, they said Christopher Columbus had already acknowledged that these people look the same as Black people on the continent.
Even the Polynesian islands, even these little islands, the exact same thing happened to them. All of the people were brown, and England and Spain, they all ripped through these countries and colonized them and whitened them.
Yep. And the thing of it is the US, because they hadn't been engaging in the breeding out, the US hadn't been engaging in it. They had only been engaging in, okay, we don't want them around us. The UK hadn't either, because the UK's thing was, they didn't think in the UK, they didn't fear that being with Black people will breed them out. They said that it would taint their bloodline and it will bring too many negative traits to the children. So they were more worried about their children inheriting whatever degeneracy they felt was inherent in Black genetics. But everybody else had already been doing it. So once the US got the memo of, hey, you can actually systematically breed them out, neutralize the males, make them completely not a threat, although they never were a threat to begin with, but whatever. They start doing it the way that the other countries were doing it. And of course, if they knew the psychology of Black men, you already know they knew what Black men were doing in Spain, the Moors of Spain. They already knew how those dudes got down. They already knew Black male pathology. They had already knew that Black men helped them to whitewash Egypt because they're so integrationist and wanting to, like, literally, if you read The Destruction of Black Civilization, the way that they describe Black people, specifically Black men back then, and their mindset, and them wanting to enmesh themselves in different groups of people, specifically the white one, you would actually think you're reading about right now in 2023.
Yeah.
It's literally.
it's really insane. And like the thing that is sickening to me, and it is because we have Black men that are very into, to me, completing
Unwrapping.
eugenics on Black people. Like that's what it seems like to me. With only having kids by white women. And let me just say, I don't really care what Black men do. It doesn't, to me, whatever. It doesn't change my world one way or another. Except, yeah, obviously, I mean, because like you say, you can create skin color. You can go, to me, you can go out in the country, dark-skinned Turkish men. There are African genetics all over the planet. But then you have Black women, and I get in arguments on Twitter, TikTok, all over every space, arguing with people over the fact that biracial people are not Black.
Yeah, Capricorn Queen said it was the African Moors who called the white woman the perfect beauty. Well, they still doing that now. So I mean, they're doing that now, and you can best believe it was wholly rooted in their whiteness. Sorry, B. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's like if the ones that they choose just aren't beautiful. I mean, there are very few that are pretty.
They don't really have access to them. If those women want to maintain their social status and desirability and ability to be with a white man, then they don't get with Black men. And even if they are considered cute, he has to have a whole bunch of money in order for her to do it.
Even those ones don't be cute. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see them being
Surgery
cute.
does a lot.
I see some that are
people.
kind of cute, like those Hadash. What are their names? The Hadash models. What are their names?
Like Gigi Hadid or
Gigi
something
Hadid.
like that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's when she had her makeup, because they showed a picture of her with no makeup on.
Oh yeah, I never seen her without makeup. But
yeah, it was just.
And it's not Gigi that I think is cute. It's her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's cute, but that's about it. But yeah.
Oh wow, Capricorn Queen, you're not lying. She said the African Moors came here with the conquistadors and provided the navigation of the slave ships. I mean, that's the thing, is that Black women look at Black men as wounded warriors and people who were tricked and set up. But it's like, no, these were complicit people who were selling you out and ended up getting taken themselves. That's the thing. They were selling Black women out first.
There is another video that I wanted to share, just about,
let's read this part right here, because I think this is still the case in Washington. It says, while legally many mixed race individuals were considered white in many states at various points of times, socially, most whites regarded anyone with Black ancestry as Black. And that's the thing. Most of the time in this country, biracial people have not been seen as Black, and Black people will try to give you that narrative that, oh, well, they're Black, they've always been Black. No, they have not. No. There are still states now. I think Washington is one of those states, at least according to Rachel Dolezal, who said they would not allow her to classify her child as Black. She had to classify it as white because she's white.
They don't force you to classify your child with anything in Washington. That is your choice what you classify your child as. So that's
Rachel Dolezal said it wasn't, and she was in Spokane. She said, and when she was there, they told her that because she is white as the mother, and children have to identify as the race of their mother. She said they told her because she is white, her child is white. And
I'm just going to tell you that she's lying, because in that case,
she might be. I mean, she lied and said she was Black, so
I would have had to identify my son as Black, and I've always identified him as biracial. So I just don't. She's lying.
Well, I don't think they would have cared with you because you're a Black woman. So obviously your child was never going to be considered, like your child would obviously only be considered what you are at the end of the day. That's what
Yeah,
they
but
said it goes by.
I always put biracial. Because I don't believe in putting biracial kids as Black. Like, no, I'm Black.
I mean, but it doesn't really matter though. It doesn't matter with you if you label your son Black or biracial. Either way, like that doesn't, it doesn't matter. But if the state does it based on the race of the mother, where what their legal classification is, and I don't know because I'm Black, so I haven't had that issue. But according to
Yeah.
Rachel Dolan, that's what she put in her documentary, that when she gave birth in Spokane, she was trying to classify her children as Black, and that they told her, no, you're white, so your children are white, even if they with a Black man. And they basically are. They are, based on genetics. Genetically, they actually are, because they're carrying around the mitochondrial DNA of a white woman. So they are at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they definitely, because when I travel and I go to other places, biracial people are biracial. That like they never,
everywhere.
I've never heard them be called anything but biracial. It feels like other like Black people, and I know they're not considered Black people, but Africans and stuff, they don't consider biracial people as Black people. It's just something pushed here, and they always say that one drop rule. And even
I don't even think it's here. I think Black people promote it here. Like I never hear
only Black
one
people.
drop rule. I've
never heard a white person say the one drop rule. And I just want Black people to understand that the one drop rule is white supremacy. It was based on white supremacy. It was literally based on
said Magic Mulata said they stopped going by the race of the mother in the 80s on the birth certificate. I don't have my race on my birth certificate. So they must have did that when didn't they say they were taking the race off of everybody's birth certificate?
Yeah, it's not on there. But even right here it says it was created to limit who had access to privileges, particularly that of freedom. Whites were able to further concentrate white power. So this is what you're doing when you're perpetuating the one drop rule.
Yeah, but now at this point, number one, most biracial people are more white than they are Black, so they really shouldn't ever be Black anyway. They're more white than they are Black.
Exactly. So you're giving away your identity. You are giving away your identity. And that's the thing that just
is more white than Black. They're giving their identity to a person who, number one, didn't grow up in the Black community, didn't grow up with anybody who would be able to even teach them, especially the biracial women. No offense to Magic Mulata in the chat box. The guy, I don't know what her parent is, which one of her parents is Black. So I'm just, no offense to you, it's nothing personal, but especially biracial women, because they do seem to have this mentality, and I know why, where they want to go in and out of the Black female identity at will. You don't really see biracial males doing that. Biracial males don't run around trying to battle Black men over their Blackness. They don't do that. They'll just do what Drake do and be allowed into the hip hop industry and make money and profit off of being so-called Black. But Drake clearly identifies more with white. I think it's very clear. Drake identifies far more with white than he do Black.
Well, and you really can't go on TikTok without seeing a biracial girl on there complaining about Black women, and it's always Black women, and it's like they want to limbo in and out of what's Black, and it's always being in Black spaces degrading and complaining about a Black woman.
Well, look
And
at the rapper Mulatto. First of all, she's in a genre claiming to be a Black woman, but her rap name was Mulatto. She changed it to Lotto
right,
because people kept telling her, okay, why are you using, which somebody in the chat room said Mulatto basically means a hybrid, which is fitting because that's what they are. They are a hybrid of a Black person and a white person. So they are hybrids. But you see biracial women doing that, weaponizing their biracialness and proximity to whiteness, because most of them have white mothers. So they'll weaponize that against Black women, all the while taking Black women's identity, because nobody should be allowing Doja Cat, Lotto, Ice Spice, or any of those mixed race chicks. None of them should be able to co-opt Black women's identity. None of them should be allowed to, but Black women allow them to. And they'll even argue with the biracial person and tell them they're Black. And I see Black women doing this more than I see Black men doing it.
oh, yeah, I really cannot stand that. That's one, that is one
Yeah,
of the
that's
things.
the only time they do it.
Or even if she's white.
I wanna share
she's
this
like,
video.
she's Black in her, they're trying to represent Black, so they, like, they like Black.
Why is it
Mhm.
playing?
She's just a red bone.
Well, but when you call them out for their colorism, then they'll be like, oh, well, no, she's Black and stuff like that. But I don't really see Black men going and forcing Blackness on people. I see Black women doing it. And it's annoying. It's like, why? But that's the way I say Black women's self-hatred and deep and self-devaluing.
So I was gonna share this video. Okay, this is the shorter one of it. So there was a longer version. I'll just play this one and see if.
V, check the private message.
Okay. Oh, so Cynthia had to go, but yeah, we're gonna finish watching this video and then we will talk about it. Oh, you guys can't hear it? Okay, hold on. No one can, so can no one hear it? Okay, I see it. No one can hear it. Okay, let me try to, I'll find it on here on my phone and then I'll play it because I don't know what's going on. So hold on one second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna play play it on my phone. I'm waiting for the commercial to go off. Sure you guys don't want to hear that.
Post about my curly hair, there is a massive debate, discussion about my race. There's people saying that I'm not black, there's people saying I'm not white, there's people saying I'm mixed, saying I am black, there's people saying I am white, and it's, why is it, why? I personally don't understand why people feel the need to take it upon themselves to tell me what I am. I'm curious, I have a black family who are from St. Kitts in the Caribbean, and I also have a Irish family. Irish people are typically very white, and Caribbean people are typically very dark. So when you put those two together, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's all down to like the amount of genes that you were given, the amount of melanin that was given to you, or the amount of pale that was given to you. There's people telling me that I can't wear my hair because I'm white. There's people saying that I can't wear an afro because I'm white. And there's some people saying that you're not mixed at all, you're white because your skin's white. It does offend me when people call me white because it's completely ignoring the entire black heritage that I have. I think it ignores the struggles that my family went through and ignores what is a very large part of my identity. I identify as mixed, I am mixed race. So can we please stop with the debate in the comments? There is room for everybody, there is love for everybody. We don't need to put someone in a box, you know? It's just all love here. Realtor.com will help you find whatever.
What? Did I get knocked off? Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Okay, so I am super confused as to what's going on at this moment. It seems like I'm having a malfunction. So I'm trying to return to the meeting. Okay, so stop share. There we go. Sorry guys, I don't know what was going on. So here's the thing. So the thing that is irritating me is I feel like even biracial people at this point are getting tired of being assigned blackness. She seems like she's very upset because she's been told that she has to be black when she's not, she's biracial. So oh, thank you. I haven't done a live by myself in a while, and or really on used Zoom in a while, so that was just some issues that was going on. But yeah, now I have like anxiety, but every time I go on TikTok, I see just like an array of biracials literally freaking out because they're being pushed into this whole category of being Black, and either they don't want to be Black, or they're, on the other hand, they want the benefits of being Black. They want to be in the spaces of Black people. They want to do the go natural phases with their hair, when it's like your hair was already curly. Like, what do you mean? Like, so they want to take away those spaces. You have the vice president as the first Black vice president, when, like, come on, this lady's not Black. You have the president as being, or Barack Obama as being the first Black president. So we're not realizing that these spaces are being taken away. Now, if there is a Black vice president that is a woman or a man, they don't get those categories. And I feel like that's not fair to Black people. We as a community of Black people have worked so hard to get to where we're at, to have those titles and those accolades taken away from us, for people that, I mean, if you look at the picture that I presented on the very first page, they don't look anything like us. 1 or 2 generations away, those people are white again. And then when we're telling them, no, these are our Black people, then we're letting them replace us. We will be replaced by blonde hair, blue eye, maybe a tiny bit of curl in their hair, like a wave, maybe, people, and those will be Black people. And we don't even need to go into, well, maybe at some point Black people will get reparations. If we do it, they will wait until we are all washed out and we are no longer Black. And that's a whole nother situation. But I see a lot online, Black people saying, oh, stop gatekeeping. Why are you gatekeeping Blackness? As if it's a bad thing. But no one can tell me any race that doesn't gatekeep their identity, their culture. Every race does that. But we're the people that are not supposed to gatekeep our race. Is that because of lack of pride? Is that because low self-esteem? Is that because we don't value our Blackness? I feel like it is a lot of that. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. I think a lot of people don't want to admit that it is low self-esteem, and it is low value. And I think that people think that it's, oh, well, we're keeping our number up, or we're just accepting, and we want to take everyone under our wing and be so friendly. You can be friendly and loving and accepting without allowing someone to take over your entire being and your entire identity and culture. I have a biracial child, so I don't look at biracial people as a bad thing, or that I don't like them, or I don't love them, or see them as a value to society. They can be all of the above and still not take over, replace you. We're not replaceable. Just like any other race, they don't, like, I don't know how else to say that other than the fact that we are not replaceable. We're one of a kind. And even if someone comes from our womb or our body, if they're created with another race, they're not us. They are both parts. A white woman cannot have a black child. She cannot produce with her egg and a black man's sperm a black person, a black woman. So we really need to sit back and I don't know, meditate or pray to whatever God you have. I don't know, but we really need to come to some realization that we are worth more and that we need to value ourselves and who we are and where we came from, and realize that we are the original. And the original can't be mixed with something else and still be that. So there was something else that I wanted to talk about, but I don't know. It's another tough topic. It really is. And I talked to my sister Onyx last night about this topic. It was getting really deep, and I recorded a lot of our conversation, but I didn't ask her if I could play the recording. So I don't think that I'm going to play it or talk about it. Y'all are saying go for it. I don't know, because some of y'all might get mad at me if I do. Okay. I don't think she'll get mad at me because I'm not going to show it, a video. We were FaceTiming. It was really late at night because she doesn't live in this country. So I won't show her face, but maybe I'll play some of the audio. But what we were talking about is Black women's love for, it was kind of Black male worship. And I've never talked about Black male worship at all because I see it in my own family. So, okay, but if y'all get me in trouble. Okay, so I see it in my own family a lot. And we were talking about, it was me and Onyx. If any of you have watched our sister talk show, Onyx has been on there. But I don't know why y'all are saying red bone. I don't know. Oh, you said ask my sister first. She's asleep. The time zone and where she's at is way different. But maybe I'll just tell you guys a little bit about it. I won't play the audio, and then I will ask her, and then I'll just go. We'll talk about it again. But so we were talking a bit about raising children and how the children aren't protected in our communities, and how that is wrapped around Black male worship. Because we're feeling like Black women in general really love Black men, but we're not seeing it come out in a way where when Cynthia talks about selective breeding, and, that's brought up. I see a lot of pushback. I see a lot of people saying, oh no, don't get rid of the children. What about the babies? Don't, we love the babies. And I see a lot of people saying, oh, I want my baby to look like me. I want brown children. And when I think about that, I'm like, okay, I can respect people wanting their children to look like them, because I was thinking, if I ever had a daughter, I would really want my daughter to look just like me. So I get that. I really get that. And I could always feel that. I understand that. I was like, okay, I totally get that. I would want my daughter looking up at me and me totally just seeing me, her hair to be like mine and the dark brown eyes. So I get that. But I 100% back Cynthia in the selective breeding. I don't think that we should anyone, and when I say we, I mean us as a community, should continue to have children in war zones with men that don't want them. They don't want them. They don't want to raise them. They have zero interest in how they grow up, the community that they grow up in, investing in their education, investing in their healthcare. They literally, you don't need to look at statistics to figure this out. You simply have to walk outside. And that's what I when I'm online and I'm looking at, the manosphere, or you look at some of these Black women creators, or you just go on Themis and Tho, or, any of these creators platforms, and you listen or you read in the, you read the comments, and people are like, oh, look at the CDC report, and they want all you have to do is walk outside. Like what do you mean? You need some statistics? No, you don't. You don't need any statistics. Walk by a school, go outside after school lets out. Like, you can go in any community and see, and it's globally. It is globally. I travel at least every couple of months. Globally, there are groups and groups, and I feel so bad for all these Black kids walking around with literally nothing to do. Like, it's sad. You don't need to look at my family, because my family, we take care of our kids. So I don't know what you're talking about. You can look at my family. We're all educated, no criminal background. So no, you don't need to look at my family. But you can go outside and see all these kids walking around with nothing to do, in groups, in such dangerous situations, because they're targets. They're walking around with targets on their back, because the police are going to harass them. I've seen it so many times where I will just go stand by them, because I've seen the police in situations in Washington, where I would be at the mall and I would just see groups of young kids, young boys, adolescents, maybe middle school, just at the mall walking around with nothing to do. And I would see the police, because that's who they're going to go target, groups of little Black boys. And I would go stand by them, like, why are you over here? I would go talk to the police. If I see anything ever with children, I'm going to go over there. If they don't have a parent, and I would suggest any adult do this. And if you see a group of kids, and I know some people just don't like confrontation, but to me, all children deserve protection. And so if I see a group of kids, Black kids, because the other kids have an entire governmental structure, but Black kids, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to help them. I'm going to protect them. I'll be their voice. I'll be their advocate. But I've seen it so many times. So I feel like even Black women care more about Black men than they do about Black children. Because I've seen, and I know this is, yeah, and this is taking Black men out of the situation. Because we were talking and I was thinking about times where I've seen situations where nurses, and this has happened on multiple occasions, would have Black baby infants picking them up and saying, oh, this is a future criminal. And it like made news, like, because this is a big deal. You're taking an infant and you're, it's abuse. You know, why are you videotaping yourself abusing a baby? No, it wasn't a Black woman nurse. This was a woman of no color on both times. One was just one and one was a group. And you didn't see any huge outrage from the Black community, from the Black women community. You didn't see a bunch of marches. You didn't see anything. And then those two cases where the teenage boys were unalived recently by men of no color, I don't see the outrage. I don't see the marches. I don't see, you know, just the huge outcry for justice as you do when you see an adult male. Even as much as just with this new situation where that bandit was punching this lady and her child had to defend her, and in his life, which he totally deserved, and I'm glad he did. I was so proud of that boy. But you saw Black women making GoFundMes for a bandit that was in the ground. There was a monster, a burden to his community, running them up. They got exactly what he should have gotten. And Black women were online and saying, oh, he had people that loved him. He didn't deserve that. Yes, he did. He should have been ended as soon as he raised his hand. Like, what do you mean he didn't deserve it? But you didn't see the same outcry for that boy that had to protect his mother. Where's his GoFundMe? Where was his where was the outcry for him? Like, where was it? He should have had a GoFundMe for therapy, for gun practice. Like, I would have thought that there would have been more of a outcry for him. So it was just upsetting, and I'm not trying to, this isn't a conclusion or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it needs to be looked at as to whether our real concern is, and our real love is for adult Black men, and not really the entirety of the Black male, like the entirety lifespan of the Black male. So that is just that. It needs to have a bigger conversation, and I do think it needs to be looked into. I think we need to talk about that, because I just feel like more effort needs to be put in. If Black women are going to continue to have Black male children, more effort needs to be put into that Black male child while he's a child, so that he doesn't become that bandit. And I just feel like we don't focus on them while they're children. We don't really care until they're a man and you can have that benefit of dating him. That's just, we definitely need time to really unpack that and look at it and address it and on a bigger platform. And I really love to have it with Cynthia, because I think she'll have a lot more to bring to the table. I have to tell you guys, I have really bad anxieties, so it's hard sometimes when I get try to process new information and get a lot of stuff done. But I thank you guys so much for staying with me. And I think the more that I start doing this by myself, I can, I'll get better. And if, I know a lot of stuff is going to offend a lot of people, but I think that we just have a lot of stuff that we have to talk about and unpack and address. And it will offend some people, but everybody can learn and grow. Everybody needs growth. I can grow, everybody can grow. If we're going to fix our community, then we have to grow. We have to change. That's all. So that's all I have. Thank you guys so much. And hopefully you guys will be back, and I'll talk to you guys again. Thank you so much. Have a happy Sunday. Bye.